Alright guys, in this video we're going to be going over Alliance Duel Day 1, which is Interstellar Trade. I want to start off by pointing out this is for Season 1. In Season 2 things might change when it comes to server versus server. So if something important on this day does changes, I will go through and update this video so that all the available information is put out there. So for Alliance Duel Day 1 Interstellar Trade, there's a lot of things that you need to know about this. Particularly what annoys me is Sandlords being attacked and rallied. We want to keep those to a minimum because your tanks should be out gathering resources. Alright, so I'm going to go down the list of things that are in the explanation here, which I will tag this video to, so you should have it right there. The points are awarded based on the number of resources gathered. Gold, electricity are worth 1 point each. Stone and wood are worth 40 points each. Do not mine amethyst. And the reason you don't mine amethyst itself, and what I mean by amethyst is, let's see if I can find one. Huh. Am I just blind? I'm probably blind. Alright, on this map somewhere are purple little crystals. Right there. You do not gain any points for mining these. What you gain points for are gold and electricity, which are worth 1 point. So these little yellow crystals, as well as what looks like a downed shuttle. It's a plane wreck. Doesn't look like a plane though, it looks like a spaceship. You gain points for gathering those two things, as well as stone and wood. So the trees and the little rocks. For stone, we highly recommend gathering in the Alliance Quarry. And the reason this is because you gain so much speed in gathering that it's quicker to gather here than it is to gather here. Especially because while you're mining from this location, the buffs that you get from your tanks will also be applied to the stone quarry. See that? 181.5%. 181.5%. The Alliance Quarry is faster already. But when you apply your tank buffs and your hero buffs to the stone quarry, to the Alliance Quarry itself, you're increasing speed that's already been increased for you because it is the Alliance Quarry. You gather faster here versus here. The next thing you should be doing on the day of is value and number of trade orders. This is Mars Mart, Business Giant, and Trade Fair. Trade orders for Mars Mart is basically, I don't know why I clicked this. I'm going to go ahead and point out that you do not gain points for this right here at all. So any order that you put out here and sell to earn gold on, you gain no points. Any gold you spend in these, hello. Sidebar for a second. Any gold you spend on these, you gain no points for. The same here. I go crazy for those, so I apologize for the sidebar on that. Mars Mart is this thing right here. That is Mars Mart. Preferably anything less than 1,000, you want to go ahead and click the trash can on. And the reason we say this is you don't hit these do not count towards your limit. There is a limit on the amount that you can fulfill. So only complete the ones that give you a high price of gold for fulfilling. So this one's 1436. I would go ahead and complete those. You gain points for every gold that you earn. You gain 1 point. And if you don't have the materials to fulfill an order, post an alliance chat. Like, hey, does anybody have this? People can go in and share what they are selling personally in theirs. They can click this little button down here, this share button, and they can share it to Alliance, which is pretty much going to be these things. These things will pop up and you'll be able to click it and you'll go into their store and you're actually able to buy them. This is so much more efficient, by the way, than going in and clicking this Alliance button in Alliance Bazaar. Because I cannot see, holy crap, Z, come on, man. I cannot see everybody's store. I can only see what the game itself is telling me to look at. So if somebody asks, and I highly recommend that you do, because honestly, I've sent in so many questions of, hey, does anybody have this? And 3 or 4 people will pop up within 3 seconds of each other. And it's so much easier just to ask people if they have it than going in and trying to search it from World Bazaar. Because if I was over here looking for eggs, I don't see any eggs. No eggs whatsoever. All right, and Business Giant is going to be, if I remember off the top of my head, this thing right here. You do gain points for Business Giant, which is clicking the little compass on the left side of your screen, sliding all the way over and hitting Business Giant. You'll get these to fulfill. Another one like this is Trade Fair. And let's see if I actually have Trade Fair up and going. Treasure Hunt. No, I don't. But you'll have another one. Trade Fair itself will be pretty much like this, except there will be, for every row, there's going to be 4 orders just like this. And it's going to be a long list of orders. I highly recommend going through and figuring out which ones give you more gold, because this trade fair is for the entire alliance. So if Galv is in there looking at the same stuff I am at the exact same time, he can claim an order, Galvarium by the way, he can claim an order a second before I do and complete it. I highly recommend do not claim an order unless you have the materials to fulfill the order. We've seen a few times that people will claim an order in Trade Fair and do nothing with it. So if you're not able to complete the order, leave it open for somebody else, because if you claim the order, it locks out everyone else from being able to fulfill that order. So please do not claim any of the orders that are in trade fair until you're able to fulfill the order itself. Another thing that I'm going to point out is crafting materials in Materials Factory. If you're HQ level 50, I believe, you get this little building right here, Material Factory, and it's pretty much materials that upgrade your tank. You get plastic that you're able to make, graphite, steel when you're at level 40 Material Factory, I believe, and titanium alloy, which is level 45. For each plastic that you make, you gain 36 points. Graphite is worth 72. Steel is worth 240. Titanium gets you the most points at 480 points each. The problem with this is these all take different times to make. There's not a big time difference in production. However, you do gain a certain amount for each one that you put in a box. So for example, I'm making plastic 5 at a time. Graphite, I'm making 3 at a time. And steel, I'm making 1 for every box that I fill. And every box that's completed, I just gain 1 steel. I don't gain any graphite or titanium right now because I can't make titanium. That's pretty much what you should be doing on the day of. So all that I just said, which is this little building, fulfill these orders. Anything over 1,000, go ahead and complete. Anything less than 1,000, go ahead and hit the trash can. I'm going to collect that. Alright. I'm forgetting something. Oh, this button. Business Giant. This one's pretty easy. You just go in, fulfill all the orders. If you're missing anything, like I said, ask in Alliance chat. We will happily put them in our shop, our grocery store, and post up the link to our grocery store so you can buy them. Or you can just go ahead and hit the click deliver button and it will automatically fulfill all 12 orders. And the other thing like this, the trade fair, it's much larger. It is Alliance wide. Do not claim any order you are not able to fulfill at that moment. All right, for this specific day, what you should be doing with your tanks is sending all tanks out to mine or gather coins, electricity, wood, and stone. You should, if you're able to, time them so that they come back before reset. You also have arms race daily that gives you points. I'm not going to go into that explanation. I think it's just going to add confusion for some, including myself, on that instance. I get confused by a lot of things in this game at times. But you should be timing your tanks to come back from gathering within the time shown here. So you should have them set so where they come back at 23. I'm going to go ahead and say 23:45. So if you can time it right with this compared to this little timer, in 10 hours, 22 minutes, it will be... Okay, so add the 10 hours, 22 minutes. That'd be 25:45. Let's say 46. That means it will be 0126. 02. No. Yeah, 0226. If I did my math right. There's somebody out there better watching this video, better at math, and they're just like, nope, no, that's not right. But anyways, you should be able to use this and compare it to the time gathered. If it is not going to come back in time, you can either set a timer for yourself or note the time that you need to bring it back and pop online at that time, recall the tanks themselves, or you can go in and actually recall the tank itself and then go in, hit this settings button, and you can actually decrease the number of tanks needed. Number of troops, I mean, for it. So it's going to gather a total amount of 7,500. Let's say I'm using that specific tank, and I know that's the amount of time it's going to give me based on the amount of troops that are already in it. I would just go in and decrease, let's see, 10 hours, 22 minutes for 7,500. Let's drop it down to about, let's say that makes it 7 hours. Okay. Still not enough, because that would put me at 22. No, that would put me at 23 something, because it's 1,500 hours right now according to Mars time. So 7 hours seems pretty good. So essentially what I did was I have 10 hours, 22 minutes gathering time right now with the max troops right here. I dropped it down to that. That should be about 7 hours. And that gives me enough time to have the tank finish what it's doing and come back within the time of gathering point. So basically, because I'm only taking 7 hours, since it's 15:26 right now, that would put me at 2,300 hours and 26 minutes. Yes. So that makes it so that I gain the points before this thing hits 0000, which is reset. That's when you stop gaining points. Typically, don't hold me to that. I know that the game does mess up sometimes. So try to get them to come back before reset. So 2350, let's say, is the cutoff for points. That gives you enough time to get them back, get your tanks back and everything. And I'm pretty sure that is everything needed to cover for the day itself. So what you should be doing in preparation for the next day is base expansion, which is day 2. And basically what base expansion is upgrading your buildings. So this little present right here, it happens after construction is done. So let's say I go in, and I'm going to give you an example, 4 hours, 3 hours. I go into this building and it's almost done. The building is now going to be wrapped up in a present box. You do not finish the construction until you pop open that present. So you can actually leave all of your buildings in a present for day 2 of server versus server, which is base expansion. And you will get the points on that day. So for me, it is Sunday. It is 2 days away from base expansion. I'm wrapping up all the buildings that I can because it takes me time to do the construction and finish the construction. Another thing I'll point out for base expansion, if you're going to start doing this, putting them in presence, any building that uses emeralds, sapphires, and I think it's this one. Nope. It's one of you. I think it's one of you. Citrines is the one I'm looking for, and I forget which building actually uses it. Oh, come on. Library? Nope. Oh, hold up. Yeah, citrines is another one that is used, as well as data chips themselves. You actually gain points for loading up the buildings with emeralds, sapphires, citrines, and data chips. So do not hit the little load button that will pop up here. Do not hit the load button on one of those four things, on any of those four things. Citrines, emeralds, sapphires, data chips, because you gain points. So leave those until the day of base expansion, which is day 2. You can go ahead and load up every building with stone and wood. It doesn't give you points for loading that up into the building. But please save your citrines, emeralds, sapphires, and data chips for actual day 2 base expansion of server versus server. And that's pretty much it for day 1 and preparation for day 2. Again, day 1 is Interstellar Trade. It's Alliance Duel day 1. Day 2 is base expansion. Those are the things you should be doing. If there's anything about this video that confuses you, anything about the explanation that we have provided, let us know. We will try our best to get more information added to avoid further confusion. And as always, guys, any questions, don't be afraid to ask. We love answering questions. And with that, I'm out.